how fascinating it's going to be to track what comes next in his Chelsea career. Nkunku against his old team.
Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we're dissecting how Chelsea dismantled PSG, and I'm not taking that word lightly. They absolutely demolished them in the first half. The game was done and finished. Now, a lot of people will say that PSG was tired or a long season, but forget that Chelsea played a lot of games too. Now, I know Conference League, Champions League, two different competitions, but at the end of the day, Chelsea and PSG both reached the finals, and they're both consistently pushing to win. They both showed the will to win, the need to fight and graft, no matter how hard it was in America. Now, this video is going to show you what Maresca was talking about, because he said something very interesting post-game. Now, before we do that, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, please. You know, smaller channels, we need this. Now, Maresca said after the game that PSG has three midfielders. Two of them were in charge of Reece and Moy. Reece and Moises Caicedo were both in the midfield playing the double pivot role with Enzo pushed up a little further. We thought it was a good chance to exploit the space with Cole and Malo. It was a game plan. Now, if you think about that, who's on that same side? Nuno Mensch. He is the best left back, or potentially with Cucurella. So why would you think that they were trying to exploit that? And I'm going to explain why later on in this video. But before that, I want to show how great PSG has been playing, because people will be like, oh, they were lackluster. Look at this. They demolished everybody. That Botafogo game was probably the one outlier. They literally were smashing everybody 4-0, 2-0, 4-0, 2-0. Like, they destroyed everybody. Even Bayern, they had 9 men and they destroyed them. Chelsea, on the other hand, they had a game plan. Now, I'm going to go on the defensive side first. Chelsea matched PSG with the man-to-man press. And as you can see here, João Pedro was in charge of two people, Donnarumma and Marquinhos. Throughout the game, I'm going to show you clips and little screenshots I can grab of seeing what Chelsea were doing. You see this. Every player was matched up with somebody. Even Enzo here in this position, he points to Colwill to follow Dembele because he's in charge of Vitinha. As you can see, they're blocking out the middle because they know PSG's whole thing is to play through the middle. You can see here, Colwill chases Dembele all the way from the back line to almost the midfield. That tells you Chelsea had a game plan. They knew PSG ripped teams apart in the middle. Even Neto basically was playing like a de facto left back this game. Maresca sacrificed Enzo Fernandez and Neto for the defensive side of the ball. A lot of people will be like, why would he do that? But you'll see why. He even pressed Hakimi. Look how far he's following Hakimi. He went from back almost in his half to now to PSG's final third almost. This is a game plan. This is a clear instruction on Maresca. Now, you might ask, why did he do that? Why did he sacrifice two of Chelsea's best attackers? Because they have probably the best attacking midfielder, I should say, in the world, Cole Palmer. I mean, a lot of people say his second half of the season was lackluster, but in my opinion, he was playing just as good. He just wasn't scoring. He was creating chances consistently. It just, you have Nicholas Jackson in front of you. What do you expect? I mean, I like Nicholas Jackson, but the guy is shooting blanks. Cole Palmer, he still was hooping. Malo Gusto, on the other hand, that guy has been horrible, in my opinion. Chelsea fans can say in the comments whether they agree. He's been pretty bad this year. So the fact that Enzo Maresca trusted him in a final when he could have easily played Reece James at right back and Andre Santos in midfield. But no, he saw something that he could exploit from the previous couple games of PSG. But let's not act like PSG is coming into this final like some trash team. You know what I'm saying? Like, PSG came off a 6-0 aggregate of beating Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Think about that. Two of the elite European teams, PSG wiped the floor with them. It was even a contest in the Real Madrid game. At least Bayern Munich put up a little fight, but they still lost with 9 men. Now, Maresca had a plan. This is the first bit. Colwill, you see him. Dembele is a really good presser, but he baits him. Fires the ball into Enzo, who does a brilliant first-time pass to Caicedo, who then finds Palmer in space. This is going to happen consistently, and it's going to sound like I'm repeating myself. Nuno Mensch doesn't know what to do here. He has to either track Gusto or Palmer. He leaves Palmer in space, and this should have been red flags for PSG, because you can see here, João Pedro has the skill to back flick, and now Palmer's in space, and Palmer misses here. But this should have been the first thing to let them know in the first 8 minutes that Chelsea's a real deal. But that didn't wake up PSG. But they almost scored right back. I want to make light of this moment right here. Cucurella plays this excellently. You can see Kvaratskhelia is right behind him. and Doué's coming onto this ball. You would think he's going to shoot. No, he plays the ball unselfishly, but Cucurella plays between both of them and wins it. Excellent defending. Now, this is the first goal. Sanchez, you see the space. You don't need to say anything else. What do? Ball over the top. One simple ball over the top. Gusto wins it, plays the ball across to Palmer. Bang, 1-0 Chelsea. They already warned them previously. That's the cold on you. They already warned them, but PSG didn't listen. Now, stop me if I'm repeating myself. Palmer in space. Vitinha has to make a decision here. Guess what? He chooses wrong. Colwell, one ball over the top, and Palmer is one-on-one with Vitinha. Look at this. This is called barbecue chicken alert. But anyways, João Pedro makes the selfless overlap. Palmer fakes the cutback. Vitinha is sent to the shops. Palmer then fake shots Beraldo, absolutely sends him the other way, and then slots it behind Donnarumma. That is called elite. Elite. That's all I can say. It is elite playmaking. This guy Palmer is cold. That's why he's always in that thing. Now listen, third goal, same thing. Look at the space. Chelsea spread across, leaving the gap in the middle. Palmer drops deep. Now Nuno Mendes has to make a decision. What did I say before about what Maresca said? They want to exploit the space between Gusto and Palmer because they know Nuno Mendes is very bad off ball. On ball, one-on-one defending, he's elite. Off ball, he doesn't know what he wants to do. Is he going to press Palmer? Is he going to press Gusto? He does neither. Now, Palmer is going to pick PSG apart. Now, look at this. He brings the ball up. João Pedro does the typical 9 run. You can see, usually you would think an attacking midfielder here would just play that through ball right there. No. Palmer and João Pedro, they display pausa. Pausa is the one single trait that separates good players from great players. Great players have the wherewithal to understand, wait, I need to check this run. Wait, I need to wait a minute before I play this pass. Look at Palmer here. He sees, they make eye contact. João Pedro checks his run, makes the run off the shoulder of Beraldo. Palmer peeps this, and then he waits just a millisecond to play that ball through. Look at that. That is called Jogo Bonita. Like, this is beautiful football right here. Palmer plays the beautiful through ball between the defense, and João Pedro, one-on-one with Donnarumma, what do you think he does? Chips him. I actually was shocked when he did that. I thought he was going to fire it far post, or maybe go near post, or maybe top corner. No, this guy chips it. That is called a real Brazilian, by the way. And he hit the Dino dance, which to me, you're going to be a fan. I'm going to be a fan of you. Regardless of whatever, I'm going to be a fan. If you're going to do Ronaldinho's dance, you better keep going. And he has been absolute revelation by Chelsea signing this guy. Now, PSG were sore losers after this game. I'm not going to lie. Enrique, almost punched him. João Pedro, they almost got in fights after the game. That tells you that they cared. I don't care what anyone says. They think that this is a preseason friendly or whatever. PSG definitely cared because throughout the game, they were frustrated with what Chelsea did because most teams were flustered with PSG's man-to-man press, but they never went toe-to-toe with them. That's the difference here. Chelsea and Maresca knew if you're going to beat a team that goes man-to-man, you have to go man-to-man with them, and you have to be communicating when you do man-to-man. Because a lot of teams, they want to do man-to-man, but then once a ball over the top, that's what happened to PSG. They weren't communicating. One ball over the top, you're killed. Chelsea, on the other hand, they were a string. Every guy was playing for the team. Even Robert Sanchez was unreal this game, by the way. And look at these numbers. I just want to show the underlying numbers. People will say, oh, PSG had more possession. They passed the ball more. La da da da. Look at the XG. They absolutely mopped the floor with them. 2.06 to 0.53. PSG didn't create a single good chance. I mean, 50% is pretty good, but for a whole game, that's like a half. You'll be happy if you have a 0.53 XG and a half. But for a whole game, think about that. Maresca came into this game with a game plan. He came in with a scheme, and this guy executed it. A lot of people had a lot to say about Maresca's second half of the season because Chelsea fell off from the moment that they were second against Liverpool in December and they had that little downturn. But think about that. That downturn is left with no context. People forget that Nicholas Jackson literally got injured at that time. Nani Madueke got injured at that time. And they had to play Neto and Tariq George up front. Or Nkunku, who literally was 1 foot out the door in January. Think about what you have to maneuver as a coach. Second year as a coach. First year in the Premier League. Because remember, he coached in the Championship. And he navigated that to get Chelsea top 4 Conference League and now Club World Cup champions. Chelsea fans, I'm telling you, have patience. This guy right here is going to take you to the promised land, in my opinion. You let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, notification bell, and we're going to keep going.